This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the chairman and CEO of ALX Resources, Mr. Warren Stanyer. Warren, how are you this morning?
Oh, it's a beautiful day in Vancouver, so I must be doing well.
Well, you're probably also doing well. You're very welcome, Warren. You're probably also doing well because you had some news yesterday that frankly, or a couple of days ago, that was frankly very, very positive. You sampled up to 2.43% nickel and 8.34 grams per ton gold in the northern Athabasca region. Pretty impressive sample numbers. Can you give us some details and provide some color there?
Well, yes, both of those showings, one the Wiley Lake nickel showing, the other the Day Lake gold showing that you just mentioned, they haven't been visited for so long. I don't know, it's almost laughable, but I guess when Saskatchewan sort of bore this well, how can I put it, that there was nothing big in Saskatchewan. Well, gee whiz, look at the CB mine. It's now at over 120,000 ounces a year that it's producing under silver standard SSRM. It's produced 1.6 million ounces of gold now? So what does that tell us? It tells us that we haven't been looking for gold in the right places very well, and that perseverance and persistence and ingenuity is what you need to find gold deposits. And so Saskatchewan just has so much going for it in gold, and in the nickel, no one had been to Wiley Lake since 1982. Nobody had been to Day Lake since 1988 until we did it. There's no records. There's no assessment files filed that some guy, even a sole prospector, had he gone there, he would have filed a report to keep the claims in good standing. There's nothing. So we're going after these things that people looked at a long time ago, and then they just let it go because, I've been in this business since 1995. In 1997, gold was $275 US an ounce. Now, you can adjust that for CPI, and it gets a higher number, but nobody was interested in gold much at certain times. Let's put it that way. So they didn't go after these things. And nickel has suffered the same, cyclical price changes. So if price was high, then, everybody, starts up the four-wheel drive and heads out into the bush. But if nickel is low, then nobody would do anything. And that's what happened at our Falcon Nickel project. It wasn't touched for over 10 years.
And it's interesting because I mentioned the nickel and you did as well, and I mentioned the gold and you did as well, but the sample also returned 0.43% copper, which is not insignificant in tandem with the gold and nickel values that you're getting at surface, right?
No, that's right. And what our theory is, and we have not gone down to the southern part of the Falcon property and looked at the Axis Lake deposit, the Ray Lake deposits, the ones that were drilled in, for the last several decades. From time to time, people would put holes in them. They're lower grade. The nickel tenor is the quality of the sulfides, and the amount of nickel is not as high. It's a great indication of a magmatic process, but we're not going to spend our time down there. We're looking for high grade, and this is where Wiley Lake, it's just sitting there. We go there, we take some samples, we drilled into the outcrop, and we got 1.22 and 1.31% drilling about 2/3 of a meter into this outcrop. That's significant, and the grab samples ran up to 2.43%. This is high grade with copper, so yeah, never been flown with a modern geophysical airborne survey. Never been flown. So this little knob that sticks up that people thought, oh, well, it's interesting. Where does it go? Where did it come from? What's the root of it? Is it detectable with airborne? Well, we're going to find out because that's the plan.
That was my next question. What is the plan, Warren?
The plan is to do an extension of what's called VTEM, which is a helicopter-borne EM survey.
Right.
It's very commonly used in North America and around the world by a company out of Canada called Geotech. And that survey we're going to extend to the north of the Falcon project, and we are going to include Wiley Lake in that because it's never been flown at all, as I said. So we want to blend these two surveys, overlap them a bit, and get a better picture of what's going on in the northern part of the project, where we think the highest grades are of nickel and copper.
When do you anticipate doing that and having those results?
I believe that we can fly. It's kind of tied to fire season, if there is one this year. If there's a wet summer, you kind of rejoice a little bit because access to northern Saskatchewan is better, helicopters are plentiful, and you can go do what you want to do. But if there's a lot of smoke and things going on from fires, then it kind of cramps our style somewhat. So July, we're here at the 29th. It looks like the season's been pretty weak so far, which is good. We'll see what happens next month. I'm guessing end of August to September, early September, we could fly, and then you still have quite a bit of light. You don't want to fly in the wintertime because the days are just abysmally short in the north. So the visual flight rules, if we can get out there in August or early September, we'll get it done pretty quick. And it's about 800 line kilometers. It's just under $200,000 Canadian for that.
I get the sense those $200,000 Canadian will be well spent. Anything to add to that, Warren?
Well, we're just scratching the surface of this property. Like a decade it sat with nothing happening. So here we are bringing in the latest VTEM survey. It's called VTEM Max or VTEM Plus. I can't remember which one it is, but it's seeing deeper than any VTEM survey has ever seen. We're still looking for these conduits and the roots of this magmatic sulfide system. No one's ever been able to trace it because it's really hard to do with a drill, one hole at a time. You need geophysics. You need to see something that then you can follow with the drill. And in the north, that just hasn't been accomplished yet. We'll be the first people to really get a good look at it.
Well, after years of waiting, it's so exciting to me to have a resource cycle that supports real grassroots exploration again. I think we're entering a discovery cycle in gold and copper and silver to a lesser extent because there's less pure silver opportunities out there. But I think we're entering a discovery cycle that 10 years down the road, we're all going to look back and just be in awe about. So I hope some of that success and some of those discoveries come your way, Warren.
Well, that's what I live for. I realize I'm obsessed with it. That's why I read old reports late into the night. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for new discoveries on ground that people have just missed on, scratched the surface, didn't know there was something deeper there because they literally couldn't see it.
You've done it before. I'm looking forward to seeing you do it again.
Thanks, Gerardo.
Thank you, Warren.
Have a great day.